Keeping events on time is one of the most important roles of the MC or event host. Now, I lied a little bit in the title of this video because I'm going to share far more than just 5 secrets on how to do that. I'm going to share at least 20 that I have learned myself over the last 20 years of being a professional MC at events all over the world. But not only those 20 secrets, I want to share with you the framework that I use, the 4 pillars of success that support running an event on time. It's a vital task. So let me explain why. Now, your client, the person who's booked you or asked you to run the event, has several concerns. But here are 4 of them. Number 1, the venue. The venue may have been booked for just a certain amount of time. There could be extra costs involved if you run late. Now, this also includes the hireage of the venue, hiring the staff, the audio-visual team, security, parking, etc. There may be a cost involved. Number 2, your speakers or entertainers. They have been booked and possibly paid to appear at a certain time. Now, if you are running late, then you may have to cut that presentation or that performance down a little bit, and that doesn't go well. Number 3, the audience and the delegates. Now, they are expecting certain things and certain value and benefit from the event. And if you start cutting down the time of speakers or presenters because you're running late, they won't like it. They also have possibly flights, business meetings, phone calls to make after the event, and that starts wiping into that time. So number 4 is the sponsors and the exhibitors. They are paying to support the event, to be there and interact with those delegates. They like to have their full time for morning tea, at lunchtime, perhaps at interval during a show. And if you're running late, you're going to have to start cutting into those times. They won't be happy either. It is very hard to catch up time. The idea is not to need to do it in the first place. So here's my secret, the structure that I use. And it is a structure. You can see it as the 4 legs of a table or the 4 pillars that support the event. If all 4 are strong, then you should be going ahead well. But if one of the aspects is a bit wonky, then you could be in trouble. Pillar number 1 are the speakers and entertainers themselves. Now, stress to them the moment that you meet them how timing is important for this particular event. You may even mention some of those reasons I gave before. Tell them that you run a tight ship and your cooperation is appreciated. Now, here's a great one. Ask them at this point, how long have you been given on stage? Now, their answer is very revealing. You know the answer already, but you want them to acknowledge that time, and their response will tell you how cooperative they are going to be. Ask them then, how will they keep track of that time? Are they going to bring their phone on with a countdown? Are they going to have their watch on the lectern? Or do they want signals from me sitting in the front? Also, make it clear to them whether Q&A, questions from the audience, are going to be included in that time. Now, when you position yourself, make sure that you can be seen by the speaker and you can see the speaker well, especially if you're holding up time cards. And here's a really good thing to do is to ask them to acknowledge the fact that they have seen the time. It might be just a little thumbs up, it might be just a nod, or they might say, yes, 10 minutes to go, I better speed up. Another thing I always check, or like to check, if there is an AV team running the person's slides, is see how many slides they have in their slide deck. If they're only doing, say, a 15-minute presentation and they've got 30 or 40 slides, you know you've got a problem. So you would have to have a chat to them and say, you've got 30 slides in 15 minutes. That's 1 slide every 30 seconds. Is that correct? And they may say, oh, yes, I flicked through the whole segment, and then it's okay. But be aware of how many slides there are. I often note that down because I can then track how they're moving through their presentation. If you've got a countdown timer, I always like that sitting out in the audience, a big monitor. It is an extra cost for the client. It really helps things move along. You can also use a little bell when there's 5 minutes to go. I tend to give a 10 minutes to go and a 5 minutes to go, and I'll stand up once their time is finished and start walking closer and closer. Now, the second pillar of success on keeping an event running on time is, of course, the audience. I try and get them on side early on and explain the reasons and the benefit of running the event on time. Whether that is getting full time from their speakers, whether that is finishing when we said we are going to finish so that they can go back to the office or catch an aeroplane, etc. Mention these things to them and mention it as you go through the event. Thank you for all getting back on time after morning tea, etc. Positive reinforcement always works better as you go through the event. When you're going into a break, I always tell them exactly what time we're going to start, and then if at all possible, start on time. Now, if you start running late yourself, the audience will start expecting you to run late and think they have longer. Or it never starts on time. I'm just going to go and get another coffee or have a cigarette outside. They think they've got a few minutes because you started late the first time. So if at all possible, always start on time. Tell them also before going into a break what the signal is. Are you going to run chimes? Are you going to walk through ringing a bell? This will help them cue it into their brain. When they hear that noise, they've got 5 minutes. So do it exactly the same time before you start again, and then try and stick to it. Now, for big events where there are a lot of audience members, I like to either have a countdown timer up on the slide on the screen so that they know, oh, we've got 15 minutes, or they can look back into the room and see we've only got 10 minutes now. I also, with a big event, like to have some helpers shepherd the people in. Now, this can be quite a fun role. I've done a few conferences where the committee have all dressed up and they've had signs and bells and, shepherding the people in, and that's been a lot of fun. But it really does help if you've got the committee helping you, the organisers of the event helping you shepherd the people back in, and that will make it run a lot smoother. The worst thing is being on ready to go and you look out the door and there's a couple of committee members chatting away to, a small group of people. That's really annoying. So if you can get them on side, that really helps support the event. Pillar number 3 is preparation with your client, and in particular, the program or schedule or run sheet. Now, people call this different things. It's either called breathing room or buffer time or wriggle room. And that is the extra time that you should allow in the program for various things. Now, for instance, if you have a program that has 3 speakers and they're each doing 30 minutes, how long will that take? The answer is not 90 minutes. It's going to take longer because you've got 3 introductions, you've got 3 thank yous to make, and possibly some housekeeping at the start or the finish. That will be an extra 10, 12, or 15 minutes that should be in the program, in the run sheet. So discuss this with your client before the event, and so that you've got a little bit of flexibility. And the other thing that you really need to discuss is, do some speakers get a little bit of leniency? How strict are you going to be with the timing? For instance, a lot of my events have government ministers, even premiers come to the event and I introduce them. Now, we obviously give them a little bit of leniency. They seldom go over time. They're usually on a tight run sheet themselves, and they would normally finish on time. But if they did go over, I would be a little bit lenient at that point. So discussing that before the event means you don't need to frantically text your client or run out of the room to have a chat to them and say, they're going over time, what do I do? You know that beforehand and you can be a lot more relaxed. And the 4th pillar to running a successful event on time is you. You have to be big and bold and brave, and don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated by the speakers or the audience or the venue. Your job is to keep things moving along. And if you have to walk back on stage and tell a speaker politely that they have to finish, that you've run out of time, then you have to do so. Your audience expects it and your client wants it. Likewise, if you have an audience that are returning slowly or sitting in the front and chatting when they should be being attentive, a few words are appropriate. Hey guys, would you like to take the conversation outside so we can get on with our event? Don't be intimidated. So there you are, 20 ideas on how to run an event on time. If you've learned anything new or enjoyed the video, would you please give us a like? It really encourages us to make more of these free videos. And if you'd like to join the nearly 30,000 other subscribers, click the link in the corner there and come along for the journey. We'd love to have you here. We publish weekly. So why don't you watch one of these 2 new videos coming up right now?